Well, mixing colors and patterns and materials in a home, that can be overwhelming for some, but when you pull off the design scheme, it looks and it feels good. Designer Tam Stone is showing us the do's and don'ts of pattern mixing, so you can actually turn us into a pro if we have no experience in about 3 minutes. So how do we do that?
Okay, so there's really kind of an easy formula, should I say. I hate to say rules, but it's more of a formula for mixing patterns together. And if you kind of just abide by that, you should be successful along the way with trying to put patterns together. And it's really just as simple as small, medium, and large. So start with a large scale print that you love. And so it can be, you know, something that's an embroidery, it could be a geometric, it could be a large floral like we have here. And then what you want to do is you want to put a mid-scale with it and then something smaller with it. And you want to draw your colors from your main pattern. What tends to happen is people think that they want to have pattern in a room and they realize they think there's more than there really is in the space. And so just stick with that one large scale print, and then you can bring in maybe something subtle, pull a couple of the colors into something like this, or you could go tone on tone with something like this, and then bring in a very small print. And that will all kind of cohesively work together, but don't use the large print all over the space. Use it on maybe one focal thing, like a sofa, a chair, drapery, something like that.
And you have a lot of experience doing this in rooms and homes.
Correct, yeah, I mean, yeah, I do this I do every single day. These are some examples you're gonna see coming up that are really beautiful. I believe they're all from Tebow fabrics, and they show how they're mixing the large, the medium, and the small together. But you'll notice that that large print that creates the focal point is really only in one area.
So in the picture we're looking at right now, would that be the wallpaper? That's
the wallpaper, yeah, and that's stunning. That's from actually their new Dynasty collection, I believe. But you'll see on the chairs, they've got a mid-scale geometric that pulls the same colors from that wallpaper. And so you're not actually putting in another large-scale print with a lot of colors in it. It's just a complementary piece to it.
Okay. So you've talked a lot about the positives and the things that we can do, but what about the don'ts?
Okay, so here's where the mishaps start to happen. One of the biggest places that a mishap starts to happen is that you go for a field color that is not the same. And I actually have an example of that here. So in this sample here, the sample set here, I've got a really beautiful large scale print. And then I've brought in something that's kind of a mid-scale, almost a geometric. That's a wallpaper from Tebow. And then you're almost solid looking. So I want to bring in something else that has a little bit more of the red in it, but this has all the same colors in it, but it doesn't quite feel right, right?
And I feel like it doesn't because those maybe don't quite match, or the florals are competing against each other?
The scale is competing, so that's the first thing that's the problem with it, is that we have a scale competition going on. The second thing that's happening is this underground field color is actually not a match to this one.
Okay.
So do you see that that's kind of a khaki color versus this cream?
So if you were going into a house, you wouldn't know which the focal point was.
Exactly, exactly. Whereas if you would bring in something like this, we've got a pretty close match on the field color, and we're bringing in those reds, and it looks like something that works. So that's a good rule of thumb, is to make sure that that undertone that you're working with matches across all of your fabrics.
Well, thank you so much, Tam. Those are all great tips, because I know interior design is so hot right now, and mixing patterns really can be a challenge.
It can be, yeah.
Well, thank you, Tam.